Because you're sitting there thinking, that is the most stupid looking car I have ever seen in my entire life.
What's up, everybody? We're back in the workshop. We're going to be taking a look at the Suzuki today. Got some things that definitely need to be sorted out. If you watch the review, you'll know that mine is not in the greatest shape. Actually, it's in pretty bad shape, but you know, it was an inexpensive hoopty that I purchased specifically for winter driving, and living here in the Midwest, I needed something that was four-wheel drive. I refuse to drive anything that's not quirky. I refuse to drive boring cars, so naturally I went with something off of my list. Now it's got some major issues, some minor issues, and a little bit of cosmetic issues as well. So let's take a quick walk around and see what we got. All right, so issue number one, and probably the biggest issue of them all, we have just about every seal on the engine is hemorrhaging. It's not just a minor leak. You can kind of see down in there, there's oil spewing just about everywhere. It does have a drip. I've got some cardboard down there catching the oil, but yeah, it's a spewing. So the idea there is I've got an engine rebuild kit right here, which comes with all the seals, and I think it comes with pistons, but you use the existing rods, or the other way around. I can't remember. I think it comes with pistons, but anyway, it comes with rings, pistons, the seals. Then comes with a new timing belt cover, that sort of stuff. So it's basically just a complete tune-up setup. So the idea is to pull the engine and throw it on the stand and go through it. I've never done that before, so that'll be fun to watch me do that, because as you know, on this show I have no idea what I'm doing, so that'll be fun. But we got to put the engine stand together, and we got to put the crane together too, so that'll be fun. But anyway, engine is problem number one. Now moving on to problem number two, which is also pretty major, and I guess you could consider it cosmetic, but not really. Let's take a look. Open that up. Now this is the driver's side of the car. Down here you can see some salt from the last time that I drove it, which was probably in the winter time. And down here in the corner you can see the issue, which is the floor. And I don't mean the floor of the car, I mean the floor of the garage. So if you can't see that, you see the light flashing through. Yeah, major issue. But when I bought the car, I knew that there was going to be some issues with the rust, because I live in the Midwest. The car came from the Midwest. That's just a fact of life out here. So if we look at that from the outside, you can see there's a major section of rust there. Oh my god, and there's still some salt. Holy crap. Yeah, so that part of it is really not looking good. So hopefully I can, I don't know, grind it, replace it. I don't know. We shall see. Again, no idea what I'm doing, so we're just gonna have some fun. A couple other issues going around the car. This wheel has a slow leak, so I don't know if there's something that can be done about that. The trunk has a weird issue where sometimes if I go over bumps, it pops open, and I think it's an issue having to do with one of the latch springs. So I have a bunch of springs. Maybe one of them will fit. If not, I can, I don't know, find something, or maybe I can 3D print something to go on there in order to make that a little bit more secure. It's a bit of an issue because going down the road, I mean, the roads here are garbage, and so there's, I mean, bumps all over the place. And with the shocks and the condition that they're in, every time I hit anything, train tracks, you know, something, if it's big enough to shake and rattle your brain inside your skull, it might just pop that trunk open. So got to get that fixed. Now coming over to this side of the car, when I bought this car, I drove it for I don't know, maybe a year before I had any major issues with it. But the first major issue I ran into was a rusted out brake line. And so I lost brake pressure and huge kerfuffle. But anyway, the fender here that I replaced, which, interesting story there, the stock fender was basically garbage at that point. I mean, it was all mangled. And so I had lost all hope. I drove around without a fender there for a couple months. But I found a junkyard not too far from here, and I was actually there for some Samurai parts because what I needed to replace was the proportioning valve for the brakes, and I'm pretty sure it's the same one that's on the Samurai. But when I got there, just on a whim, I asked them, you know, hey, can you look up and see if you by any chance have an X-90 on, you know, on the floor? And he's like, oh, I don't think we got one of those. But he started typing it in his computer, and it popped up that there was one. So, and it was purple. So I ran over to the other side where he said that it was, and I was running up and down the aisles trying to find this thing. And sure enough, there was an X-90 sitting there. And when I saw it, I mean, you know, my eyes opened up. So I grabbed pretty much everything that I needed at the time, not even just the proportioning valve. I grabbed fender, proportioning valve. I needed a new screw for the latch back there. I grabbed something for the inside. There were a couple other things that it was missing that, you know, I just went ahead and kind of stripped it since it was, you know, destined for doom anyway. But anyway, the fender is fine, and I put it on there, and I mean, it's good, it's aligned well and everything like that. The big issue is I'd like to paint it to match the rest of the car. So I'd also like to restore the existing paint that's on there. Maybe strip this graphic off and the pinstriping, sand everything down, get the, you know, down to the clear coat, and either restore the paint or put a new fresh coat of paint on there. I'm a sucker for the stock color of the car, so I'd like to, you know, keep it red. I also thought it would be cool to wrap it, maybe vinyl wrap it in white. I don't know why I thought, you know, this would look pretty cool, like a Dakar rally car or something in white, but anyway. I'd also like to reprint the decal and put that back on there. I don't know if that was a factory option or if the original owner of the car decided to get that on there, but I don't know, it's kind of grown on me. And it definitely sets it apart from other X-90s and stuff, so. And it's got that 90s vibe to it, so I kind of like it. So, gotta do something with that. Also, this door, after the issue with the brake line, this door is not aligned properly. So, you can kind of see, hangs down a little bit, and it's definitely not a clean close. So I'd like to actually, I'm gonna need some help. That's the reason it's not aligned, is because it's way too heavy for me to hold up and align at the same time. Even using a floor jack, I was having a real difficult time doing it, so I might need some help with that. But you can also see here, because it's misaligned, it doesn't quite line up with that, so there is a small leak here. The good thing is the T-tops don't leak at all. It's just this little section right here where the door is separated from the window that it kind of leaks. So I'd like to get that fixed. Another minor issue that we have, the squirters for the windshield wiper fluid, I believe they might be rusted shut. And I also need to replace the pump, because when you go to pull the wiper fluid, you don't hear anything. So I'm assuming that the pump is out. But obviously the first thing I'll check is the fuse. That's another minor issue. One other minor issue with the car is my wife rolled the window all the way down on the driver's side, and the motor was pretty much burnt out on both of them. But unfortunately, that one decided the best time to burn out completely was while it was all the way down. So now it doesn't come up. I can't even pull on it like I used to. So I gotta pop that card off and see if I can't get that window back up. And I guess while I have the card off, I'll see if I can replace the motors. That way, you know, those are back in tip-top shape. So, other than that, other cosmetic issues. I mean, this seat has a little tear in it, which is, I don't know, it's a pretty small issue. I hardly ever have passengers, but the driver's side seat has a really bad gash in the base of it. That's why it's got a seat cover on it. That was there when I bought the car. So if you know anybody with some stock X90 seats, I'd love to get them. This is leather. I got leather interior in here, so I'm starting to kind of come around. I used to really like leather interiors, but I also really like older cars, and one of the things I've noticed is older cars and leather, not usually a good thing. So, but yeah, that's it. So basically, I mean, as you can see, the car's I think it's in decent shape, especially considering, you know, what I paid for it. So the biggest thing is getting the engine out and rebuilding the engine. That's going to be major because I've never done anything like that before, and so I'm excited, but I'm also a little nervous, as you are with anything, anytime you do something you've never done before. But that's going to be a pretty big one for me. I'm sure it's going to leave me feeling pretty satisfied if I get everything out, go through it, put it back in, and start the car up. So you're definitely going to want to stick along for that ride, because I'm gonna make some noises. But yeah, you can see I got the charger on the battery because I let it sit without the tender on it, and I shouldn't have done that. So that's the Suzuki X-90. I love this car, and unless something bad happens and I have to sell it, I'd like to just keep it. You know, this will be one of my Jay Leno cars, my Hoovy cars. People will ask, why do you have that thing? And you know, if you watch the videos, maybe you'll understand. You'll come to love it as much as I do. So that's gonna do it for this episode. So leave a like if you like the video. Check out some of my other content, and if you like what you're seeing, go ahead and subscribe so that you can stay up to date the next time I drop a video. Take care.